Hi, this is Brendan Lee from thebrendanlee.com in support of consciousness and skill worldwide. I want to talk to you in this video about the connection between martial arts and enlightenment. Okay, welcome. I want to answer the question, okay, is there a connection between martial arts and enlightenment? Quick answer, no. There's no connection between martial arts and enlightenment. Why is that? I imagine that this video may not sit well with many people, or with at least some people who consider that, oh yeah, there must be a connection between martial arts and enlightenment. There must be a connection between like the Tai Chi, the Yin Yang, and the Tao Te Ching, or you know, some sort of spiritual practices. Oh, there's a connection between enlightenment and diet, or there's a connection between whatever, you pick it, you name it. There's a connection there. The reason why there's no connection there or here is because a connection is something that you make up. It's something you create. It's something that you create. I can't say it any other way. Now, I think another aspect of this issue is that the connections themselves seem to be backed up by stories. Like, you know, when I was young and I first found my master, so to speak, or my teacher, my mentor, I first found Cheng Shin, and I was enthralled by the idea of the master on the mountaintop, the enlightened martial arts master. You see, and I was like a young man, and oh wow, it's like, and then I figured I found the real deal, and I'm quite certain I did find the real deal. Is, you know, I found somebody with a massive amount of integrity, who's incredibly honest and straightforward, and who is a master martial artist and a master fighter and a genius. Yeah, I can't really beat him, but I mean, for real, not pretend. So anyway, it doesn't matter. You figure out for yourself if I'm telling the truth or not. And so I was enthralled by the fantasy of the enlightened martial arts master who lives on the mountaintop, so to speak, and going to study with this guy. And I did. And in the process of all the studying, some of the first things to leave were the fantasies. And I even, you know, I had read some books and considered the matter and was honest with myself as best I could be. And I learned, yeah, okay, yes, I'm a young man. Of course, I'm going to have fantasies. So before I even came over to study seriously, I tried to throw them all out. Like, okay, this is not about fantasy. This is about getting real. This is about the real deal, the real McCoy, whatever you want, you know, something very authentic. And when I showed up, still, I had fantasies. And as it turned out, the reality was way better than the fantasies. Even though losing the fantasies was somehow painful, I gained exponentially more in my own authenticity. So, learning about, you see, because at the end of the day, the image perhaps of the image of the martial arts master who is enlightened, the reality of that is that there's a human being over there, and they have a massive amount of skill, and they have a massive amount of insight and breakthroughs, enlightenments, very creative thinking, sharing knowledge and wisdom. You see, and still, there's a human being there. There's no fantasy. There's no fantastical, like, pie in the sky, you know, dressed up like a Chinese guy with the Fu Manchu beard and sitting in blissful repose. No, it's a human being. And, you know, most people come at the work usually with some kind of fantasy, and it's a good one. I mean, it really is. The enlightened martial arts master for, I'm imagining, young men, perhaps young women, it's just my imagination, is attractive. And it's like, yeah, the warrior, you see. Now, there's another fantasy. So now the connection between martial arts and enlightenment is only what you make. It's only what you create. That is the connection. That is how the connection occurs. If you don't believe me, question it. And figure out for yourself, as always. See? You be responsible. Figure it out. Don't just believe the pontificating nonsense that comes out of my mouth. You see? Look into it. Be honest about it. Well, you know, what is a connection? You see? And you'll find that there is none outside of what you make. And it just so happens that many people make these connections over and over and over again, and somehow it gets embroiled into, well, yeah, of course there's a connection. How do you know there's a connection? Well, I feel it or I see it. Yeah, well, had it occurred to you that perhaps making a connection might affect the way you even perceive? You know, maybe it does. Or the way you think about things, if you imagine that there is actually a divine connection between enlightenment and martial arts, you might well go around the world, imagine, relating to the world as if it's real. And you might not know it's not. And if it's that way for you right now, if you're like, well, no, there really is, chi and ki, and there really is martial arts, and there really is a connection between this warrior way and enlightenment and divine purpose or whatever, then that's how you'll see the world. That's okay. No problem with that. Just don't mistake it for reality. I'm sorry if this upsets you. I'm not trying to upset you. I'm just trying to be real here. So, and as always, part of how I come at this consideration is, of course, from my training or from my own questioning and my own honesty to myself in the matter. And noticing, hey, there's no connection between martial arts. There isn't even martial arts, in a sense. Like, people think there's actually something that is a punch. There is no such thing as a punch, if you really look at it. Now, I know that sounds really weird. It's like, yeah, what do you mean there's no such thing as a punch? Yeah, some dude fucking punched him, like, yeah. Okay, but what is actually there that is the punch? You see, when is the punch? Is it here? Is there actually a thing that's there that's a punch? No, there's a body. You see, now look, does the hand somehow change when now there's a hand? Now it's a fist. But did it stop being a hand? No. But we call it a fist. But does that mean that there's actually something there that's a fist? No, it's a hand in the shape of a fist. But then a punch, like, what is a punch? See, is it the impact? Is it the swinging? Is it the intent to punch? Where is the punch? Will the real punch stand up? Like, come on out. Where are you? Can you go buy a punch at the grocery store? At Walmart? On Amazon? Alibaba? Whatever? No. You see? So, yeah, we would say, yeah, there's a punch there. No, there's not. There seems to be some process of movement that we then call a punch, but you can't buy one. And yet we live as if there is such a thing as a punch. Now, same with martial arts. You see, martial arts is nothing more than creative activities to do with the bodies and minds. And it has to do with hurting people and destroying the bodies. You see, but then we think that there is actually some sort of like mystical tradition that is a martial arts. Like, oh, it's the Wu Wei, it's the Tai Chi, it's the Aikido, it's the boxing, it's the MMA, whatever. These are all inventions. They're made up. There's nothing like there's nothing what's that word? There's nothing special about it. sometimes people attach a lot of meaning to the martial art. Oh, it's the Daito Ryu Karate, and it's passed down by my master and his master before them, and blah, 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 blah. And somehow, like, no, I can't do that art because it's like this, and blah, blah, I can't do it because it's like this. Excuse me. It's a lot of crap. And I'm off track, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is, what I'm trying to explain by my ranting a little bit is that if I go off on making if I go off imagining that there's something really there when there isn't actually something there, and then I relate to it as if, perhaps I can do the same thing with a connection between enlightenment and martial arts. You see, I really think there is a connection. I really think it's real. That's what I'm trying to say. And I could be wrong about that. Now, you could listen to this video and believe me. And here's the time where I will invite you to consider for yourself what's true in the matter, because just hearing me and having an opinion about what I say is pretty much the dumbest thing you can do. That's my opinion. Which is pretty much the dumbest thing I can do. I had a thought about that. You see? That's an opinion. I had a thought about it. Oh, I don't like what I just heard. Okay. Oh, I like what I just heard. Okie dokie. Cool. These are opinions. The real value will come if you actually question what's being presented for yourself, not for any other, for you to know what's true. Figure it out, man. Woman, whoever. Is there a connection between martial arts and enlightenment? Well, yeah, there is. Brr, 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 brr. Good. There's a thought. I don't care about your thoughts. I'm concerned with you having an experience in the matter, what's true. But not a thought masquerading as an experience. No, like really get it. So now, how do you do that? My invitation would be for you to question, well, what is a connection in the first place? Like, what is that stuff? Following a lot of what we do in the Chengsheng contemplation, or in the contemplation world, the consciousness work, what is a connection? Like, what is it? What's it made of? Is a connection something that somehow just exists? Like a rock exists somehow? And I go get one? You see, what is a connection? Is it made of green cheese? Can I go buy it at the supermarket and drink it? What? Come on. You see? Come on. What is it? And likely in your investigations, you'll find that a connection is something you make up. So then consider, and then even if you make a connection between martial arts and enlightenment, and then you add a whole lot of meaning about what that means. Like, what does it mean to you? That is also something you make up. There is no inherent meaning. I had a huge argument with a buddy of mine about this. I was correct. Woo, I was right about something. That's always what I want, of course, is to be right about everything. And I am. I'm messing with you. Kind of. Okay? So, there you go. There's no connection between martial arts and enlightenment. If you question the matter yourself, you'll find the same thing. I guarantee it. And another invitation for you is to consider that if you do making the connection between martial arts and enlightenment, that perhaps there's more power in making them very distinct so that you can relate to one on its own terms without gumming it up with a bunch of dogma from the other, so to speak. See, if I relate to consciousness as if it's somehow related to fighting and some cosmology about being a good fighter, and then I will only view consciousness within the framework or perspective of martial arts and fighting. And if I do that, then my view will be skewed in a very particular direction. I won't consider it in terms of flower arranging or anything else for that matter. It'll be like, oh, what's the connection here? Wow, if I get enlightened, will my dragon fist punch stance get better? What does that have to do with anything? Who cares? Many people get enlightened, and they don't even do martial arts, nor care. So what's the deal? So there you go. Please consider that for yourself. Excuse me, if you want to have maximum value, it comes in having a direct experience or knowledge or insight about the matter for yourself. Pontificating is fine. Opinionating is also fine. It just won't get you anywhere. But don't believe me. As always, check it out for yourself. Thank you.